Welcome to the RAJ Blueprint, which stands for Restoring Autonomy and Justice. I'm so excited for today's deep dive.
Me too. We've got a lot of ground to cover today.
We really do. And, our core mission here is to guide you, our listener, from just passively learning about these trends to actually creating real economic impact in your life.
Right, because the old rules of upward mobility are, well, they're just being rewritten in real time right now.
Totally.
Yeah.
Before we jump in, I should mention this deep dive is powered by Alpha Day A and Future of Work.
Oh, and don't forget the interactive part.
Yes. You can click the join button right now on your screen to ask us questions directly during the show. We love seeing where your curiosity takes this conversation.
It definitely keeps us on our toes. So what's the mission for today?
Right. So today we are taking a deep dive into this massive stack of sources. We've got Harvard Business School research, World Economic Forum reports, a crazy University of Washington study, and data from Merit America.
It's a heavy stack, but the implications are huge.
Exactly. Our goal is to decode this huge shift we keep hearing about, from paper degrees to, skills-first hiring. We're going to navigate the hidden AI biases in this new landscape and give you the actual tools to thrive in it.
Because it's a completely different game now.
It is. Okay, let's unpack this. For decades, the traditional four-year college degree really had a monopoly on the American dream, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for generations, a bachelor's degree was basically used as this blunt proxy for competence.
Like a universal filter.
Exactly. It wasn't that you learned how to do a specific job in college. It was more about proving you could, show up, follow instructions, and meet deadlines for 4 years.
But now you look at the news, and corporate giants like IBM, Delta, Google, Bank of America, they're all loudly dropping these degree requirements.
Which is a massive shift, and the scale here is just staggering when you look at the data.
Right, the STARs data.
Yeah, so STARS stands for Skilled Through Alternative Routes. We're talking community college, boot camps, military service. There are 70 million STARs in the U.S. right now.
Wait, 70 million? That's half the workforce?
Literally half. And when companies actually remove the degree barrier, 84% of them report it as a successful move.
Wow.
They're seeing way more diverse applicants and significantly better retention.
Okay, but this is where I have to push back a little on the corporate PR. Because is this actually happening, or is it just virtue washing?
That is the million-dollar question.
Right. Because I read that Harvard Business School and Burning Glass study in our sources, and it's pretty bleak, they found that despite all the hype, only 1 in 700 hires is actually made without a degree when a requirement is dropped.
Yeah, it's a huge disconnect between the press releases and the actual hiring managers.
Exactly. And the study used this analogy I just loved. They said, college grads are like smooth stones in the bottom of a stream.
Oh, right, because the water just flows over them naturally.
Yes. Hiring managers are used to that smooth current. If you hire a traditional graduate and they fail, nobody gets fired. You just shrug and say, well, they went to a good school.
It's the safe bet.
Right. But a non-traditional candidate is seen as a jagged rock. To hire them, the manager has to cause friction, defend their choice to their boss, and, take a real personal risk.
And managers are just terrified of taking that risk. But what's fascinating here is the economic incentive to overcome that fear.
What do you mean?
Well, when companies do successfully hire STARs, those workers see a 25% salary increase on average.
Which is life-changing money.
Completely. And the companies, they see a 10% higher retention rate compared to their traditional hires.
And retention is basically everything right now.
Oh, it's a massive win-win. But it requires this fundamental rewiring of corporate culture to actually work.
Which is hard. And it brings up another huge issue. If companies are ditching degrees, they need a new way to filter millions of applicants, right?
Enter AI screening.
Exactly. But this leads to a massive hidden trap. I want to talk about the University of Washington study.
Oh, the simulated AI one? Yeah, that was wild.
It was terrifying. So they had human recruiters use a simulated AI to review resumes. And the researchers intentionally programmed the AI with racial biases.
Just to see what the humans would do, right?
Right. We always assume the human is there to oversee the AI, to act as a safety net.
But that is not what happened at all. The humans basically mirrored the AI's bias completely.
It's unbelievable.
If the AI favored white candidates, the human recruiters went along with it. If it favored non-white candidates, they followed that too.
It just turned off their brains.
Pretty much. In cases of severe bias, the human reviewers agreed with the biased AI 90% of the time.
So what does this all mean for us? I mean, we aren't overseeing the AI at all. We're just nodding along with it.
Yeah, we're basically using it as a crutch.
It's like mindlessly following a GPS right into a lake just because the voice told you to turn left.
That is a perfect analogy. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the Frontiers report actually dives into why these AI tools get biased in the first place.
Right, because they aren't explicitly programmed to be racist or sexist.
Exactly. It's called feedback and emergent bias. They use that famous example of Amazon's scrapped AI tool.
Oh, the one that hated women's resumes.
Yeah, it was actively penalizing any resume that contained the word women's, like women's chess club captain.
How does an AI even learn to do that?
Because it was trained on a decade of Amazon's historical hiring data. And historically, most of their engineers were men.
So the algorithm just assumes male equals successful.
Exactly. It looks at the patterns and just mathematically amplifies the historical bias, which is why critical thinking is more central than ever. We simply cannot lose our agency to these algorithms.
Which is such a good pivot because AI isn't just changing how you get hired. It's like rapidly changing the actual skills you need to do the job.
Oh, totally. The pace of change is just accelerating.
I was looking at the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs report. Employers expect 39% of workers' core skills to change by 2030.
39% in just a few years.
Yeah. Furthermore, 85% of people actually believe businesses have an obligation to reskill their employees.
Which is a huge shift in how we view corporate responsibility.
Right. But my question to you is, with generative AI doing so much of the cognitive work now, like writing and coding, is everyone just supposed to learn to code?
That's the common assumption, right?
Yeah. Do human skills actually still matter?
Well, the WEF data shows the exact opposite of this purely technical future.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, technological literacy is crucial. You need to know how to interact with AI. But the ultimate differentiators between growing and declining jobs are actually human-centric skills.
Like what?
We're talking resilience, flexibility, analytical thinking, agility.
Ah, okay. The Siemens example from our sources comes to mind here.
Oh, the skill bridges. That's such a great example.
It's brilliant. So Siemens is a huge manufacturer. They had these traditional factory workers whose manual jobs were being automated.
Normally, a company would just lay them off.
Exactly. But instead, Siemens built these skill bridges. They realized that a worker who spent years troubleshooting jammed conveyor belts had elite problem-solving skills.
Right, those human-centric analytical skills.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they mapped those mechanical problem-solving skills directly into digital roles, like IoT programming. They basically taught them how the logic they already had applied to code.
And they successfully transitioned thousands of workers. It just proves that you can teach the tech syntax, but the underlying human logic is what really matters.
And here's where it gets really interesting for you, the listener. What does this skills-first revolution actually mean for real people's bank accounts?
Yeah, let's look at the real-world outcomes.
So, Merit America, they're a nonprofit helping low-wage workers transition to high-paying tech roles. And they've generated $1.4 billion in wage gains.
Billion with a B. That's incredible.
It's staggering. And I love the story of Alicia McHale in their data. She's a Merit America alum. 5 years after her training sprint, she's closing on her first home. Yeah. And she said that felt totally impossible without a traditional degree before this.
Well, and the statistical weight backs up her story completely.
What were the numbers on that?
So, alumni see an average annual wage increase of nearly $21,000 just 3-month post-program.
21 grand in 3 months.
Yeah, and it gets better. That grows to a $30,000 increase 3 years later.
That is life-changing.
It really is. It proves that financial stability doesn't actually require 4 years of your life and massive student debt. Targeted, agile reskilling actually works.
It completely redefines upward mobility.
It really does.
So I want to talk directly to you, our listener, right now. You know the landscape, you know the AI traps, you know the upside. How do you actually execute on this right now?
We need an action plan.
Yes. We've pulled 3 immediate, actionable steps straight from the sources to help you build a skills-based portfolio. Step 1, deconstruct your experience into a skills taxonomy.
This is so important.
It really is. You have to translate your past, whether you were caregiving, working retail, or in the military, into standardized business language.
Right, like the Lightcast taxonomy we looked at. They track over 33,000 skills.
33,000.
Yeah, and you have to map your so-called soft skills, like conflict resolution, to the specific language used for high-wage roles.
Basically, stop treating your resume like a chronological history timeline of your life and start treating it like a targeted menu of capabilities.
Exactly. Which brings us to step 2. Claim your LER.
Which stands for Learning and Employment Record.
Right. We're seeing this huge rise in LERs and digital credential wallets. You shouldn't just list a boot camp on a flat PDF anymore.
Why not?
Because you need to collect interoperable digital badges and certificates. It gives you agency over your verified data, which actually helps you bypass those biased applicant tracking systems we talked about earlier.
Oh, because it's verified proof, not just a keyword on a page.
Exactly.
That makes total sense.
Okay.
Step 3. Prepare for job simulations, not just interviews.
This one is catching a lot of people off guard.
Oh, for sure. Skills-first companies, like Unilever, they're using tools like Piemetrics and HireVue now.
Yeah, they're running neuroscience games and actual job simulations.
Right. You won't just sit there and be asked, what's your biggest weakness? They're going to ask you to actually show how you work under pressure.
So you have to practice task-based assessments, not just rehearsing standard interview answers.
Exactly. So just to quickly summarize our journey today, we covered the death of the paper ceiling, though it's still an uphill battle.
The jagged rocks in the stream.
Right. We warned you about the dangers of humans mirroring AI bias. We talked about the power of human-centric reskilling. And we gave you the 3 steps. Map your skills taxonomy, claim your LER, and practice job simulations.
You know, all of this raises an important question.
What's that?
Well, the sources keep pointing to the rise of these employee-owned skills wallets, the ones you carry with you from job to job.
Yeah.
Imagine a future where your skills data is entirely owned by you, not your employer, not your university.
Ooh, I like where this is going.
Right. If your verified skills become a portable currency, does the traditional corporate ladder just cease to exist entirely?
Wow.
Do we all basically become sovereign economic agents?
Sovereign economic agents. I absolutely love that concept. And I wanted to leave you, our listener, to just mull that over. Think about what it means to truly own your capabilities. Thank you so much for joining us in the RAJ Blueprint for this deep dive. Keep learning, keep pushing boundaries, and go create that economic impact.